this is Ryan Wolfson. This is the Sports Jawn. The NBA season is upon us. So before every season, I'll give you where I think the teams will finish in each conference standing-wise, how the playoffs will shake out, who I think is going to win the awards, and who I think is going to be all-stars. It's going to be a weird season. The NBA is finally back on NBC since I was a kid. That's where they mainly were. But also weird is inside the NBA, it's no longer on TNT. It's going to be on ESPN. So this is going to be weird. But the one thing I do know is Steph and LeBron are still playing. So with that being said, let me just get right into my predictions for the conferences. And I'll just kind of break down the tiers and kind of where I have them. So in the Eastern Conference, the team that I finish in first is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They bring back their whole core. They acquired DeAndre Hunter at the trade deadline. He should be he should have a bigger role moving forward this year. They lose Ty Jerome, and that's about it. I look at players, Darius Garland will miss a little bit at the beginning of the season, but they're just so good. You have guys like Evan Mobley I expect to take to the next level. You have Jared Allen, Garland, Donovan Mitchell, like I said, DeAndre Hunter. Team is just really, really good. A lot of their players are in their prime. They all complement each other very well. They were top of the East last year. So I'll like them to repeat again as the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed is the New York Knicks. I think in a way they got worse and in a way they got better. The way that I think they got worse is I think their head coach. I don't think that Mike Brown's a bad coach, but I think Tom Thibodeau was the main reason why they were very good. I think they got better because they added some guys off the bench. Jordan Clarkson, since he's been in the NBA, is one of the best bench scorers in the NBA. Mitchell Robinson will be healthy for a full year. So I just look at this team and I'm like, oh, they actually have a bench this year. So in a way, they actually got a lot better. They don't have to rely on Brunson and Cat throughout the regular season to just carry them to wins. They can monitor their minutes, so that way the whole team is a lot more fresher come playoff time. And the last team that I have in the top tier is the Milwaukee Bucks. You could argue that this is probably the best Bucks team since the year after they won the NBA Finals. They got rid of a lot of their older, slower players. The only older player that they still have on this team is Bobby Portis, who again is one of the best bench players in the NBA. And he will be coming off the bench because they went out and got one of the best 3-and-D centers in the NBA, Miles Turner, who was a starting center on the Indiana Pacers, who went to the NBA Finals last year. They acquired Kevin Porter last year. Expect him to take another step forward. They have Kyle Kuzma. They still have Gary Trent. They have a bunch of basically 3-and-D guys from an athletic perspective. That'll help Giannis a lot because for the first time in a long time, they don't have Lopez, they don't have Middleton, they don't have Holiday, they don't have Lillard. A lot of these guys were like really good players, probably Hall of Fame caliber players, but they were older, they were slower. And with Giannis's athleticism, the ability to just grab the ball off the rim and push the ball, and Giannis's ability to get in the post and having all these shooters around him and young athletic guys cut so he can pass, I think it's just going to open up the offense a lot better. And again, reason why they might not be as talented, as the Knicks or the Cavs, but they probably have the best player in the NBA, Giannis. So that's why they're in that top tier. Plus, they have a great coach, Doc Rivers. The next tier, a team I have number 4, is the Orlando Magic. I think they got a whole lot better. Jalen Suggs missed most of the year last year. Banchero missed about half the year last year. And what did they do? They went out and added Desmond Bane, who's one of the best 3-and-D guards in the NBA. I think that's going to give them a third scoring option now behind Banchero and Franz Wagner, allowing Suggs and Wendell Carter, their other 2 starters, to kind of play complementary roles. I just think that this team is really, really positioned. One thing that people don't realize, too, in the NBA is when you have your core group of guys together, usually year 3 or 4, especially when they're younger, like the Magic, that's kind of when they pop. It's really hard to get, even if they're veteran all-star caliber players, for them to just kind of gel right away. You kind of need that couple years to generally gel and get chemistry on the court and know how to play with each other. So I just really, really like what the Magic have done. I think Banchero, I think Suggs, I think Wagner will all take a step forward. And in all fairness, Desmond Bane might as well, because without John Morant there dominating the backcourt, he will dominate this backcourt because he's clearly the best guard on this team. Team I like 5 is not. It's because I don't think they did anything really to improve their roster, but their core players are young, so I expect them to get a lot better. And that's the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham had a breakout season, arguably a top 10 player in the NBA last year. Then you have guys like Jalen Duren at the center position and Arthur Thompson at the small forward position, who I think are just going to play very key roles. People forget Jaden Ivey, their other guard, who was basic, in my opinion, should be a backup guard and become one of the best bench guards in the NBA, similar to like how Jordan Clarkson did early in his career and then moved back. But he's still that good. He can score, he can create offense, he can defend. He missed all of last season. So that'll help them out. They relied a lot on Tobias Harris last year and vets like Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., and they don't have to do that anymore. I think they're going to be a little bit more athletic, a little bit more better defensively. And again, I think they're young players. The three main ones in Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, and Arthur Thompson take a little bit of a step forward. Team I have 6, I just really, really like what they're doing. I think this might be the best team that Trae Young has had. So I like the Atlanta Hawks. You go out and get a center like Kristaps Porzingis for him to finally have a perfect center for someone like him. With Trae Young's range, the ability to stretch, having a guy like Kristaps Porzingis that can also stretch from 3, that pick and pop is going to be lethal. Not to mention, too, Jalen Johnson was having an all-star breakout season. Then he got hurt last year. He'll be healthy. Then you have Ricochet, the first overall pick. He should get better. Then you have the steals leader in the NBA. Dyson Daniels had a breakout season in the backcourt. And then you have like guys like Inakwa coming off the bench who started last year, who also kind of had a breakout season as well. I just think that the Hawks are really, really positioned well because, again, a lot of these people have been together, a lot of young guys. They are going to be an elite defensive unit, too, outside of maybe Trae Young. And Trae Young could just go there and run the show offensively and potentially have an MVP caliber season. I have 7th, and I probably have him in the top tier, but Tyler Hero is missing a lot of time. He might be out until Christmas. So I think they'll be a little bit worse of a team until he comes back. And that's the Miami Heat. You have Tyler Hero at the point guard position. You go out and get Norman Powell, who averaged 20 points a game last year. You got Wiggins last year in the Jimmy Butler deal, so he'll have a full offseason to get acclimated. Then you have Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, and again, a very, very, very good starting lineup. And that's not even to mention guys like Davion Mitchell, who they acquired, who did very well for them. Terry Rozier, who'll be coming off the bench there just for them this year. And then young guys they've had in their system for a couple years, like Yami Yaskaz and Nikola Jovic, who I think also will be very good complementary players. So again, with Spoelstra and the Heat, they're going to be a playoff caliber team. And again, if Tyler Hero was healthy, I probably have him then at top tier, but because of that, I have him at number 7. And then I think right here is where it gets drop off. And I know the 7th team technically would be in the play-in, but to me, these are teams that are basically play-in teams. Team I have number 8, just based talent alone, but again, I haven't seen it play out, so that's why I have them this low, is the Toronto Raptors. Manuel quickly missed a lot of last year. Brandon Ingram missed a lot of last year. Scotty Barnes missed some time. Jokic Poeltl missed some time. And they still have R.J. Barrett. They have arguably the best starting 5 in the NBA. A bunch of, Barrett, Barnes, Ingram, quickly, all bucket getters. Now they're going to have to play defense. They're going to have to learn. Some of these guys are going to have to take a step back. Maybe Barnes because he's younger, and it can do a lot more. Maybe he takes a little step back scoring. So R.J. Barrett and Ingram, which is their strength, is to score. Maybe they take a step forward. Maybe quickly learns how to become more of a facilitator in defense. That's more my question is they really haven't played together, and how are all these elite scorers going to be able to mess with one another? And that's really my concern. Other than that, I do think from a talent perspective, they have a really, really, really talented roster. Team I have 9, and the reason why I have him 9 is 2 reasons. One is I don't know if Jason Tatum's going to come back, and if he does, when. And if he does come back, I think it'll help the Boston Celtics. But the Boston Celtics, They still have Peyton Pritchard. They still have, at the guard position, they still have Derek White. They go out and get Anthony Simons, who I think is going to help them out a lot at the guard position. Jaylen Brown is still there. They still have guys like Sam Hauser as well. My question about the Celtics is they lose Porzingis, they lose Cornette, they lose Horford, so they lost all of their centers. They have this guy Cato that's going to be starting at center. Maybe they acquire center. Maybe they kind of play it out. See at the deadline if they're not in contention or where Jason Tatum comes back. This and that. But that team to me is the most question marks because they could if Tatum is healthy, if Tatum comes back around the trade deadline, All-Star break around then, they could easily be a playoff team. But if they're struggling to even get into the play-in, they could just tank the season, try to get some picks, and just let some of these young guys develop. Team I have 10 also, a lot of question marks. It's Philadelphia 76ers. A lot of injuries last year. I do think they'll have one of the best, most athletic defensive backcourts in the NBA this year with Maxey and rookie VJ Edgecombe. My concern with them is that their front court. They have Embiid, who's older, a little slower. He came out and said he can't be elite basically on both ends at this point in his career. So choose which one. Also, Paul George is going to be playing power forward because he's slower. But he's also not a big guy that ever was really a guy that would get a lot of rebounds. So I just think defensively, if you can get rebounds and second chance points, that's going to really hurt the Sixers. And again, ever since Embiid's been here, the question is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be healthy? That's still the question mark. If Embiid's healthy, one of the best players in the league. If he's not, Sixers will be picking in the top 5 again next year. Team I like a lot, but I've never... I like a lot of their players, but until I see it, I won't bet on it. And the team I have 11th is the Charlotte Hornets. I really, really like... They drafted 3 rookies. I really, really like them a lot. My favorite one is Con Kneppel from Duke. With him, Brandon Miller missed all of last year, and he's a bucket getter, 20-point scorer. You have those two, along with LaMelo Ball, along with Miles Bridges. This is going to be, to me, a make or break year for LaMelo Ball. He's either going to be a guy that they might want to trade because he puts up stats but doesn't really translate to anything, or maybe he takes that team to that next level and gets him into the play-in. Team I have 12th is, I'm just very concerned about the makeup of this team. They have players, but I don't think they fit well. Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddey had a breakout season. I expect him to continue that. Reminds me, again, a lot of Jason Kidd. You have Nikola Vukovic. Is he going to be traded? He's a little older. He's a slower guard. Slower center. So you have Giddey, who likes to push the ball. You have the rookie Mateusz Bazula, who likes to run with the ball. You have Kobe White, who's a smaller scoring guard, who really should be a guard off the bench, but he's playing too. They just have a lot of pieces that really don't go that well together. So that's kind of why I have them at 12. Team I have at 13 is just they just keep getting injury. They keep losing players. Indiana Pacers. I'm probably asking why is it drops long. You lose Halliburton for the season. You lose Miles Turner to the Bucks. You lose your backup point guard, TJ McConnell, who's now going to be out for months. So now you've lost 3 of your core players that helped you win games last year, gone. You still have Nemar, you still have Matsoon, you still have Naismith and Siakam, but that's basically all you have. And there's a lot of unprovens there, and Carlisle's a great coach, and he willed them there last year. But Halliburton was one of the best players in the league last year, so you can't just replace him. And again, McConnell kept steady the ship to the bench. He's not there. So there's just too many things to overcome for the Pacers this year, which is why I have them at 13. These last 2 teams might be the 2 worst teams in the NBA. Team at 14 is the Brooklyn Nets. Outside of Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr., who they really got. I know they have the rookie Demon from BYU. He might do well. Claxton's okay. But again, they don't really got anybody. Team that's even worse, just because even though they might have more players, I think they'll be worse, is the Washington Wizards. I do like the rookie Trey Johnson. I think he'll do well from this year. I think Chris Middleton will help with those younger players. I think getting rid of Jordan Poole will also help the locker room. So with all that being said, that's why I have the Wizards 15th. I do think that Saar and Carrington, second-year rookies, will take a step forward as well. So that's what I think about the Eastern Conference. And my next part, I'll be talking about the West.